Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ESRL on this Friday night. We're here in Spain, Barcelona, for the 10th round of this 12-round championship. Just 3 to go before we crown a champion, and indeed a champion team as well, because the Constructors is very, very close. But we are here in what looks like very sunny Barcelona, with Robin Brain heading out for an outlap first. Let's get all of our stuff enabled on the screen, makes our life easier. That was a beautiful shot, by the way, down towards turn 1 from the exit of turn 3. Lovely camera angle. I wish it gave us that camera angle all the time, especially in this at this time of day on the track as well. It looks like it's dusk here at the Circuit de Catalunya. It's going to be Robin Brain who goes out first, as he has preferred to do for the last few rounds. He is usually the first out there. Is Cialda here today? No, he's not. So I was just thinking if we could do some driver-style comparisons again, but he is sadly not here, Cialda, today. But Robin Brain's going to set us off. Of course, there used to be a right turn there into a chicane, but no longer, just one right turn and then all the way down to the final corner and to the line to start the first lap of this session. Robin Brain using some of that overtake all the way down towards turn 1. This is going to be where the most overtakes happen today. Brakes at the 75-meter board, hit the apex of 1, hit the apex of 2, a little bit of a loss of the rears out of 2, but he's okay through 3, just hugging the inside line all the way down towards turn 4, brake at the 50-meter board or thereabouts, and on the outside on the exit, and then cut back to the inside to get the outside for turn 5. Misses the apex of turn 5, does Robin Brain, but still not doing too badly, down to turn 7 and 8 on the inside there, getting a bit too much of the curb, I think, and now flat through turn 9. All the way down towards turn 10, brakes at the about 80-meter mark, maybe 85 or 90, and very difficult to get the traction down out of that corner, but Robin Brain manages it just reasonably enough. Down to the last couple of corners, this one is flat, this one isn't quite flat, I don't think. Oh, it is flat. It didn't used to be, now it is on this year's game. Down to the line, a 1:11. Is the time to beat ABE Stephen on an outlap. Who's going to be the next across the line? It's going to be the championship leader, I believe, TF Mar 10, coming to the last couple of corners. Is he flat? Yep, he's flat through that final corner, just about keeping it within track limits, but he's a long way off. Wow. TF Mar 10, 8.5 tenths away from Robin Brain on that lap. That is a big surprise. Vader Boy into the gravel. He lets through a Ferrari of Johnny Stokes, the defending champion, currently sitting second place in the standings. Down to the line he goes. Use up the rest of his ERS that he's got. It's a 12.6. It's ahead of Mar 10, but way behind Robin Brain. Jordan Lancer is closer, but it's still quite a way off in the 1:12s for Jordan Lancer. Zoxyrus goes to P3. Both Ferraris in today, which is good news for them. Is what they need. Speed Alcoholic goes to P2, though, as the Red Bulls continue their charge for this Constructors' Championship. I'll run you quickly through the standings. So it is TF Mar 10 who leads the way in the drivers by 38 points from defending champion Johnny Stokes. Shockingly, last week there were no stewards reports, so I cannot believe it, but somehow no stewards reports. So the results were as they stood. Zoxyrus then on 94 points, 15 behind his teammate. Then it's Speed Alcoholic on 73, but the Constructors is mighty close. Red Bull 220, Ferrari 214 after Red Bull's disaster last week where they could have gained a huge amount of points on Ferrari. It didn't go to plan, and they ended up only gaining 3 points on the prancing horses. So they are now only 6 points ahead coming into these last 3 rounds. Tear into the gravel there at the third to last corner. Apologies for the dogs. There will be some dog barking over the next few minutes as the shopping has arrived to the house. Truckster into the last couple corners. Someone's got, that was tier to P8 obviously. Martin all the way down in 7th. See if he can improve. ABE, Stephen and Newbie up to P4. That's a good effort from him. Truckster, not a competitive lap time from the McLaren driver. Aces into the wall just as we ride on board with him at turn 7, and he's going to have to reverse and get back sorted. Robin Brain is out. Robin Brain has binned it at the final corner and is out of the session, so there won't be any improvements from the current pole sitter. But EVE Finley is on circuit. He is definitely by far the favourite to take pole and win this race. That I can guarantee you. And if he doesn't, it is slightly embarrassing for him. I'm not going to lie. So we'll see how he does. He is PSGL PSF3 is Finley, and in second place in the championship, might I add. But yeah, Finley coming through sector 2 at the moment on his outlap, but keep an eye on this man because he is going to light up the timing screens. I am sure of it. Jack Alaco, P14 at the moment, hasn't set a lap. He's coming through sector 1, 21.8 in that first sector, but already down to 35% ERS. Not a lot to play with for the Scottish driver as he comes through the middle sector now. Misses the apex of turn 5 a bit, but we've seen that's been a bit of a pattern today so far. Jack Alaco now through turn 7 and 8. Oh, a little snap of oversteer on the exit of 7, and it put him over the curb on 8, and lap is invalid for the Haas driver from the Highlands of Scotland, Scott M89. On a lap at the moment as well. He's been on a great trajectory of improvement, has Scott, this last few months, I would say, and just this game in general. I think he's a lot better at this game than he was at F1 23, and he is certainly proving it at the moment, scoring some decent points. Where is he in the championship? He's 18th, but he has scored. He has had lots of point scoring finishes. He has 16 points on the board. Let's see if he can add to that tally today as he comes through the final 2 corners. Is he flat through the final corner? Yeah, he is. Easy flat through the final corner, and up to P8 goes Scott, but he's a long way off the pace of those ahead, so he is going to need some improvement there. What about Finley? He's coming through down the last corner. What's it going to be? Is it going to be pole? Yes, easy for Finley. 111.8 on his banker, and Robin Brain is felled, and indeed he won't be able to challenge back after crashing at the final corner. Just going to check, see if he's put anything in chat. He hasn't. Okay. Well, anyway, Jordan Lancer through sector 2. Oh, just a bit too wide at turn 5, and that is an invalidation for the Brit. He's going to have to try again. He's got to be careful of this Aston Martin behind him. Gets diligently out of the way of Carlitos, who is our most recent race winner in ESRL, winning in Hungary. I believe it was last week, for his first ever ESRL win. And he'll be hoping to make it 2 in a row today. As he comes down to the last couple of corners. Here we go, Carlito from Spain. This is his home race, Carlito, so he'll definitely want a good result here. And DRS open all the way down towards turn 1 for the Spanish driver. Speed is who's coming across the line now. Martin has invalidated, so still no improvement for the championship leader. He remains down in P8. Is that where he's going to stay? Johnny Stokes to the line. This is looking a lot better, much better from the defending champ. He goes to P4 in that Ferrari. I'll switch down to Aces versus Kings now. He's going to be next across the line, flat through the final corner. No, actually a tiny little lift from Aces through the final corner, and it's P9 just ahead of Scott. What about Carlito? He's at 21.6 in sector 1. Coming to the middle sector now, or to the end of it, through the flat out turn 9. The sun is low in the sky. Scott, due to the RaceNet lobby, but hey, I like it. It's nice. It may be difficult for the drivers, makes them completely blind, but it's very picturesque, I'll say that. Carlito around the final corner. Lix is looking very, very good. It's an 11.998. It's beats Speed Alcoholic by 1,000th of a second to P3, but Finley still standing tall at the front of the field at the moment. Who's going to be next? It's going to be the McLaren of Trugster to the line. That's much more like it. P10 for the McLaren. What about the other Ferrari of Johnny Stokes into the pits? Stephen has invalidated his lap already. Must have invalidated the final corner, which is very unfortunate. Aces into the pits. Who is next across the line then? It's going to be Speed Alcoholic. He wasn't improving in the middle sector. He needs to nail this final sector now to get a better lap time. Down to the line he goes. Oh, he can't quite improve. Loses out on his previous best by 7,000ths of a second. Who's going to be next? It's going to be Vader Boy into the pits, though, for him. He's at least ahead of Tier at the moment. Clemo coming through the last sector now as well. Finley starting his next lap. 6 minutes to go in the session. It's still quite a way to go. Carlito into the pits, so we're right on board with Clemo. The driver from Germany through the final corner he goes. Nice, I think that's Joe Guan Yu's helmet that he's got on. 11th place for Clemo for now. I don't think he'll be too happy with that one, actually. Tier starting a lap, as is... who is that coming across the line? Scott, that's it in the Williams. And then it's going to be Lancer next. He's on an out lap. Finley's on the mediums for some reason. Beats me. No idea why he's on the mediums, but there we go. It is a VCARB 1-2, Robin. Absolutely right. It is for now. We'll see if anyone can beat you, but I reckon you'd have had a great chance for pole by the looks of things if you hadn't crashed. What happened, by the way? Did you just bin it at the final corner, or was it trying to come into the pit lane and you overcooked it and went into the wall? You hit a bump. The bump still exists then. Okay, that's irritating. Does Finley do the same? He avoids the bump. Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised that bump still exists. I thought they fixed it, but obviously not. Who's going to be next across the line then? It's going to be the Alpine of Tier. Is he improving? We're about to find out through the final corner. Just about out of ERS, uses it perfectly and, well, improves by a lot. Beats Vader Boy to P14, but still a long way off the pace of the rest of the field as Jacko starts a lap. Scott, I don't think he improved. If he did, it wasn't by much. And now it's going to be Jordan Lancer to pole position from the British driver out of nowhere. And he will be delighted with that lap if he can secure pole today. He has been improving the last few weeks and months to get back to the level that he was at, the level he knows he can be at. And here he is in pole position in ESRL. We'll see if he can hold on to it. He's doing a very nice job right now. Who's going to be next across the line? It's going to be... Oh, it's certainly not going to be Aces. Into the wall he goes in Sector 1. That is the exit of Turn 1, in fact. I think he's gotten too much curb or just lost the rear when he was trying to come into Turn 2. And that is no front right end plate and a pit stop. He should have just enough time to get into the pits and get out, but it will be very, very close. He does have to get a move on here if he wants to get another lap in. The other Haas, meanwhile, Jackalacco into the pits. So he's going to have to go one more time. Good evening to Speed in the chat. Let me just open the chat properly. There we go. This track is difficult to qualify well on. Well, yeah, it can be a tough one because you've really got to push hard in corners that don't want to be pushed. It can often feel that this track is trying to work against you, I think. A lot of the time it just feels like it's that you don't have the traction that you want to get on corner exits a lot of the time, and it can really catch you out. Aces is going to be very, very close here to time. 2 minutes 40 remaining. He's just getting into the pits now. When he gets out the pits, it'll be about 1 minute 20, I think. He's really going to have to get a move on. He speeds into the pit lane as well, just to illustrate that point. Trugster, Vader Boy, here we go. He's going to be next, but no, he's not on a competitive lap time. He's going to have to go again. Hello, Lupper in the chat. Good to see you. Indeed, long time no see. Scott through the last couple corners. Yeah, good to see you, Lupper. And to the line comes the league owner. It's a big improvement in the middle sector for Scott. But it's nothing across the line. He's going to have to go again. That's why he saved so much ERS. He must have made a mistake in that final sector, which is a real shame because his second sector was great. Everyone coming out the pits there, having to slow down for the Williams driver as he started his next run. Who's this? Johnny Stokes to start a lap. Zoxyrus has invalidated his, so he's going to have to go again on the same set of tyres, and he's been beaten to 8th by Trugster. Very, very close for the top 8, but look where the championship leader is. He is still down in 10th place, and he really needs to find a big, big pressure lap here. There's no Marcus today to play any shenanigans with him, so he should be okay in the race, but he really, really needs to get this lap in. He's a second off the pace. 1 minute to go. This is last attempt at a lap. Vader Boy to P13. Good effort from him as Speed Alcoholic starts his next run. We've got Finley starting one as well. Carlito starting one just behind him. And here comes the championship leader, Martin. Huge pressure lap for the German. And we'll see if he can rise up to that pressure. Scott invalidated at the final corner, which is a shame for him. Jordan Lancer coming through to start his final run, as is Clemo, his teammate. Who's next across the line? It's Johnny Stokes, but I don't think he's improving. No, he does improve by a 10th in the end. Is that going to be enough to solidify P6? He didn't gain any positions, but it might be enough to keep that 6th place that he's currently got. Trugster into the pits. Who's next? Aces. Is he going to make it across the line? 15 seconds. He should be fine, actually. 10 seconds to go, and yeah, across the line now. He had about 6 seconds to spare, did Aces. Very, very close indeed. What about ABE Steven? Across the line and invalidated lap time, but it wouldn't have been enough to change his position anyway. Zoxyrus into the pits, no improvement for him. So who's next? It's going to be Speed Alcoholic round the final corner. Again, not improving in Sector 2. Did he nail Sector 3? No, he stays P5. Who's going to be next? It's going to be Carlito. Can he take pole? Yes, he can. Can he get it for the second week in a row, Carlito? Speed Alcoholic across the line. Martin is only 9th. No improvement for Martin that he would have wanted. It was an improvement, but nowhere near enough. What about Jordan Lancer? He's into the pits. What about Finley? Can he snatch pole? No, he can't. He's not on a competitive lap time, and Carlito's going to take pole position here, I think, unless Clemo can do anything. He's invalidated. Aces is going to go through the last couple corners. Scott's invalidated. It's all about this man. Aces versus Kings. Can he improve his position? I don't think he'll have pole, but he is coming through the final corner. Is it going to be enough to get him into the top 10? Not quite. P11 for Aces, but he'll still be happy with that improvement there. Not just about missing out in the top 10 by a 10th of a second, but look where the championship leader is. 9th place. He needs a huge race here, because otherwise he is going to lose a few points to Johnny Stokes, his nearest rival, and indeed well, Red Bull, currently both Red Bulls are ahead of both Ferraris, as in like one Red Bull is ahead of the nearest Ferrari and the other Red Bull's ahead of the other Ferrari. So they're not too bad at the moment as a team, but it's risky business for them. They've got to be careful here. They haven't qualified quite as well as they usually do, especially this man who is so used to taking pole this season. Down in 9th place and with a lot of work to do. pole position in a row at his home track here in Catalonia. Jordan Lancer gets it snatched from him in the end, but he is on the front row. The V-Carbs 3 and 4, then it's Speed and Johnny Stokes, Stephen and Trugster, Martin and Zoxyrus, the two drivers who've led this title for the championship for the longest time, on the 5th row together. Aces, Clemo, Vader Boy, Scott, Jacko and Tia round out the rest of the grid. I think we do have formation lap on, so we'll get a chance to catch our breath. And here we go for that formation lap. Let's get things on the screen. There we go. So tyres, it's an interesting spread of tyres. About maybe half and half, mediums and hards, maybe with a slight edge to the mediums, and then aces, of course. A man for the alternate strategy, a lot of the time is starting on the soft tyres, so we'll see how he manages with that. But Carlito on the hards, and then the two drivers behind him on mediums. I still think Finley is the driver to beat today, but Carlito is not going to be easy to beat, that's for sure. He is looking, well, I was just about to say he's looking very fast out there today in that quali session, and there he goes spinning in the formation lap. But if you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. You want to do it on this lap. So a quick look at the helmet of our newbie. It is a default, sadly. I think everyone else's helmets I have reviewed already. I have indeed. So we'll let the drivers line us up on the grid to start this race, which I'm sure is going to be thrilling. Championship implications here, with Martin down in 9th, and the Ferraris and Red Bulls very close together. 3 rounds to go, including this one. Really at the business end of the championship now. Who is going to take the advantage into the last couple rounds? Here we go then. 4, 5, red lights. And we're underway for the Spanish Grand Prix in ESRL. There's varying starts across the grid. A good one for Speed, but someone's all the way round. I don't know who that is. Someone's lost a ton of positions. They went sideways briefly, but somehow they've gotten away with it. It's Jordan Lancer into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix into turn 1. Carlito just crowded out at the exit there, and Finley's down the inside now as well. Speed looking to make it 3 wide, down towards turn 4. Are they going to get away with this? Speed on the inside? Somehow they've all gotten through in one piece. Robin Brain down to, or Finley down to P4, Finley into the wall! Finley all the way round into the wall and down to last place as Aces is all the way up to 5th. What a start for him on those soft tyres, really making the most of those at this stage. And we're still under green flags, no safety car or VSC in sight. So it's Jordan Lancer who leads from Speed Alcoholic, who took advantage. Carlito down in 3rd on those hard tyres, with Robin Brain in 4th and Aces in 5th. What an amazing start that is. Let's have a look at the position changes. Aces up 6 spots from the grid. Clemo up 4, Zoxyrus up 3 as well. Good starts for them. Martin staying in 9th. No progress up the grid for him. So Speed Alcoholic flying the flag for Red Bull today so far, but a long, long way to go still in this Grand Prix as here comes Aces. Looks to the inside briefly, but decides against going for an ungodly send into that corner. A little bit wide at turn 2. It's not going to help his cause, but Johnny Stokes happy to stay behind for now. So this tyre mix up and down the grid is going to create some interesting situations here. Who's that's gone round? It's Aces who's gone very, very deep, but Zoxyrus is in the grass! Zoxyrus, and well, it hasn't been a good start for Martin, but that's even worse for Zoxyrus, and that is not what Ferrari needed. I think maybe he just got caught out by the mistake of Aces on the exit of turn 4 and had to take avoiding action into the grass. It's cost him a ton of time and positions. So we see Martin going down the inside of Clemo for P7. A bit of contact between the two at turn 10, but Martin makes the move, and the championship leader only 2 spots away now from his closest championship rival, Johnny Stokes, who's all over the back of this V-carb. Is going to have the DRS as well down to turn 1. This should be a pass for the reigning champ. Down the inside he goes, and Johnny Stokes takes 4th place, and Speed Alcoholic takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix into turn 1. He said this is a hard track to qualify on in the chat, and well, he qualified down in, I think it was P5. Yeah, P5 he was, but now here he is in the lead of this Grand Prix. What a start it's been, and Jordan Lancer has to follow along, and our pole sitter Carlito, his objective is to stay with them, just stay in the DRS on those hard tyres, and then he's going to be much, much better in the second stint, and is still going to be the favourite to win this race, especially with Finley now down in 14th after that blunder at the start. And talking of blunders, a mistake from Speed somehow holds on to the rear end, but Jordan Lancer takes advantage and takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix into turn 10. And these three still locked together at the moment. Carlito on the hards, Jordan Lancer and Speed on the mediums. Johnny Stokes 1.3 behind, and he's not going to get DRS down to turn 1, and that could be game over really for Johnny Stokes in terms of getting with this train. I think he just took a bit too long to get past this V-carb, and he set the fastest lap, so it might not be over yet, but look how much time he loses to the DRS as Martin sends it to the inside of Aces. Aces leaves him plenty of room, far more than he needed to, and Martin says thank you very much, and he's up to P5 now, just 9/10 behind his closest championship rival in Johnny Stokes. Of course, Martin won this championship 2 seasons ago. Johnny Stokes won last season, so it's the 2 most recent ESRL champions in this battle for the championship this season. And oh, sorry, Martin is 2 spots away from Johnny Stokes. I do apologise. Just completely glossed over Robin Brain in front of him there. But anyway, Martin on the hard tyres though, so he's doing a great job so far. And Ace is already struggling on those soft tyres. Steven goes to the inside, but locks the rears, and Clemo goes straight into the side of him. Nothing that Clemo could have done about that. That is so unlucky for the Mercedes driver. And Steven all the way to the back as he trundles across the grass, and it's 15th place for him on debut, which is a huge shame. Tier the first victim of track limits as Finley into the pits very early. I wonder if that's going to be a wing change for him. I would imagine so. Is there a change for the lead? No, it's still Lancer in front from Speed and Carlito, with Johnny Stokes in 4th place, 1.5 behind. If he was in DRS, he'd definitely be able to stay with them. I think he's the fastest driver of these 4, but he's just losing so much to the DRS straights, and he's not able to catch up, which he will be unhappy about, I would imagine. It's an annoying place to find yourself, really, knowing that you're faster than the cars ahead, but not able to catch up because of that DRS zone. Martin into the gravel in the background there as Robin Brain picks up his own, and he's at the moment holding back the championship leader. 2 seconds is the gap to Johnny Stokes now. Zoxyrus making progress after his little incursion or excursion earlier around the outside perhaps of the penultimate corner. He backs out of that one, but Trugster under pressure from the Ferrari with the hard tyres, who's doing very well at the moment. Speed takes the lead into turn 1, and Martin finally gets past that V-carb up to 5th place. 2 seconds behind his main rival for the championship, and Zoxyrus has been absolutely mugged by Aces around the outside of turn 1 and down to P9. And well, the driver who's garnered a reputation for being the best overtaker on the grid this season, I think by a fairly long way, to be honest. Much like Oscar Piastri in real F1, Clemo getting past Scott further back, but Zoxyrus getting a rare instance of him getting mugged there by Aces versus Kings into turn 1, and a mistake through turn 7 won't help Zoxyrus's cause there either. The man from Germany is going to have to work very, very hard now on those hard tyres. 3 seconds is the gap to Robin Brain. So Zoxyrus could be in for a recovery drive here if there's no safety car that turns up and comes to his rescue. And Lancer with a track limits penalty. There we go. So the first sign of vulnerability from any of these top 3 as Lancer gets that penalty, and Carlito right behind him on those hards. The mediums may be starting to lose their advantage now to the hard tyres as Aces makes his way past Trugster and Martin, and Robin Brain go wheel to wheel again. These two, oh no, it's gone wrong. There's contact. Robin Brain is sent round, spinning into the gravel, and Martin keeps P5, but Robin Brain is not going to be happy about that. And I do wonder if that's going to be a report later on in the stewards. I won't assume that that's going to be the case, but it's something worth keeping in mind at least. He's down to P11 now. Zoxyrus gets past Trugster at an unusual point on the track. Must have been a mistake from the McLaren, and now he's got Aces just ahead of him. As the top 3 continue to be locked together. Johnny Stokes just not able to catch them. The DRS far too strong. Zoxyrus to the inside of Aces, but backs out just before they turn in for the apex. And he will surely get him down towards turn 1 though, will the Ferrari. Here they go, talking of turn 1. Speed Alcoholic under pressure from Jordan Lancer. I think he's just too far back. Look at that overspeed, but he backs out of it, not interested in sending it down the inside. If it was the last lap, then he probably would have done. But on lap 8, there's simply no point right now, as Zoxyrus does indeed make his way past Aces versus Kings, who is surely beginning to struggle on those soft tyres now. And, 4 seconds is the gap to Martin for Zoxyrus to make up. And, both Red Bulls now doing fairly well. They're both in the top 5. Johnny Stokes and Zoxyrus 4th and 6th, while Speed is leading the race. And Martin in 5th place. So Red Bull do stand to gain quite a few points as it stands on their Constructors' Championship rivals as Finley retires in the pit lane. So, so much for him being by far the favourite to win this race. He is out of it on lap 8. Here they go again, though. Speed still leading this race from Lancer and Carlito into the last couple corners of lap number 8 and on to lap number 9. Carlito just staying behind, but he's using that overtake button now. I think Carlito senses an opportunity. He's close enough to try and get his way past Speed here. Speed is going to lose 2 places in one straight, and the pole sitter into second place. Nothing Speed can do about it. He tries to switch back on turn 1, but there's just nowhere to go. But he's gone and get the inside of turn 3, a little bit of contact between them. Carlito just veered too far wide and Speed took the gap and he's back up into second place. But Carlito is doing what he needs to do right now on those hard tyres. He's sticking with them and it's still in the DRS and is definitely, I think, the favourite to win this race at the sort of third of the way through stage. I do wonder when those medium runners are going to come in. Johnny Stokes 2.3 ahead of Martin. I think that will be the battle he'll be watching. I think he's now too far behind the top 3 unless we get something like a safety car to bring him back into it. As we've got another spinner. That is Stephen for the second time today as Johnny goes wide at turn 10 there. That has lost him quite a bit of time to Martin. I think that was 3/4 tenths or so that he lost. And Martin reeling in at the defending champ. He may have had a very poor qualifying by his standards, but the race pace still as good as ever as he chases down this Ferrari. Soxerus 4.5 seconds down the road and needs some drama. Needs some drama to get himself back into this, as does Johnny Stokes on the top 3. Robin Brain passed Scott in the meantime, up to P10 as he recovers from that contact with Martin earlier on. I do wonder if that will be a penalty. I'll update you next week if that does indeed turn out to be a penalty in a steward's review. Tia into the pits for the hard tyres. We'll be going to the end on those ones. But Ace is still interestingly staying out and staying ahead of Trugster for now. But for how long can he maintain that? Those soft tyres really struggling on that Haas, and Trugster loses the rear as well. Has to back out of the inside of turn 10. Very sensible from Trugster, but down to turn 11, and he's too far back now to make any sort of move. Surely he'll get him into turn 1, you would think. But those mediums can't be too healthy either. The hard's definitely the better tyre at this stage in the race. 10 laps in. We'll cut back to the front because Speed Alcoholic is making a move for the lead and does indeed get his way through with that DRS up to first place once again, with Lancer just behind and Carlito still sticking with them, and Martin down the inside of Johnny Stokes. How did that happen? That was so quick that happened. Trugster does indeed get past Aces, but the last time I checked, Martin was well over 1.5 seconds behind Johnny, and now here he is in 4th place on those hard tyres as well. He's going to have a better second stint, and Johnny Stokes, well, down to 5th place, and in what has so far been a poor day for Martin, he is still going to extend his championship lead if it ends like this. And indeed Red Bull are going to hugely extend their Constructors' Championship lead, and that is Aces. I am afraid to say, I think predictably, into the wall at the exit of turn 5, and Clemo into the gravel as well at turn 7. Very easy to do. I think we'll see plenty more of that today at that particular corner. But Ace is now with I don't think any front end plates at all. I think he lost both of them in that collision. Does he have? Yep, no front end plates for Aces. So now Speed into P3 as the top 2 get past. Jordan Lancer under pressure from Carlito for P1. They're through turn 1. Carlito gets the better exit, but contact to the back. ABE Stevens out of the race. He's crashed at turn 7. Somehow, no safety car for that as Carlito to the inside of turn 4. Can he make the move? Lancer leaves just about enough room. They're still side by side down to 5. Lancer on the inside though. Carlito all the way around around the outside of turn 5. Can he make this stick? They're still side by side down towards turn 7, and Carlito leads the race after starting from pole position. Finally, after that poor start he got with the hard tyres, he's kept with the top 2 on mediums, and he's made his way back into the lead where he started this Grand Prix, with Lancer and Speed just having to follow one behind, and there's contact as Lancer into the back of the Aston Martin. It's far from over as they come into the final sector. Lancer still right behind Speed, practically pushing the Mercedes through the final sector there. But they've all gotten away with it, and through the final corner, Speed hasn't gotten away with that one, though. That'll be a track limits warning for sure, as he puts all 4 wheels well off the circuit. Here comes Lancer, he backs out of it, and Speed takes full advantage. What a move from Speed Alcoholic, amazing stuff. Lancer did not have the guts to send it into turn 1. He didn't feel like it was worth it, but Speed did, and he makes it past both of them. What an overtake. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 4. Surely not going to end well, and it doesn't. It doesn't end well. There's contact between all 3 of them. Carlito has somehow cleanly gotten away with that, but Lancer and Speed just got tagged as they went through turn 4, and that was game over. Speed down to P3, Lancer down to P2, and Carlito now is far and away clear as the favourite to win this race. Lancer within 1.1, but with those aging tyres, it's not going to be enough. And look how much ERS that Carlito has compared to the Mercedes. It is no contest at all. And well, Lancer might get the DRS here, though. Where's the detection point? It's just coming up there, and Lancer does get the DRS, to be fair to him. He's done well to stay in range, and he'll be an angry driver in that Mercedes cockpit, and Speed won't be particularly happy as well, but he's not really the angry type, Speed. He's more of a just stick up the bootstraps and get on with it kind of driver when that sort of thing happens. But that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah, but he is 2.5 seconds down now with no DRS, and I think that is his challenge for the race lead, at least for now, all but over. Johnny Stokes, meanwhile, staying with the other Red Bull of Martin, which is a great effort, actually. I expected him to lose quite a bit to him after Martin got past, but no, Johnny stayed in touch, and he's got a huge disparity in ERS between the two. Way more on the Ferrari than the Red Bull as they go through turn 10. Martin a little bit on the curb there, but Johnny staying in the DRS, and that's exactly what he needs to do right now. And who knows, they could pull each other up further up towards Speed Alcoholic as well, and then perhaps a podium could be on the cards for either of them after that incident between the top 3. Zoxerus currently a very lonely race for him as Johnny Stokes into the pits at the same time as Speed, both of them in at the same lap, or for those medium tyres to be changed. Carlito loses the place to Lancer, and Lancer doing a stellar job on those medium tyres. It's a real shame he has a track limits penalty. He's back into the lead of the race. Speed and Johnny are going to exit the pits. Where are they going to be? I think they're going to be just behind Clemo, as look at this battle between Robin Brain and Scott. Robin into P6 he goes as he continues his recovery after the incident earlier on, and Scott and Clemo now going wheel to wheel. Clemo a little bit out wide there at turn 3. Can Clemo go down the inside of 4? No, decides against it. Sensible stuff from the Mercedes, and now Speed is 1.3 behind them, with Johnny Stokes 3 seconds behind Speed. Mistake from Clemo and Speed Alcoholic. I think that was contact actually between Clemo and Scott, because look at Speed now right behind Scott M89, and down towards turn 10 they're going to go. Speed right behind, should get this place easily, has so much more grip through that corner with the DRS round the outside, and Speed takes away that 7th place as he charges up the grid. Lancer into the pits. How much time has Speed gained from the undercut here? Johnny Stokes a long way back from Speed now. He lost quite a lot of time in the pit lane, maybe just about 2 seconds I think it was in the pits that he lost. As Jordan Lancer, out he comes. Where is Speed Alcoholic though? He's coming down towards turn 1. now, but there's the Mercedes in front, just ahead. And Speed, well, he's gained a little bit of time, I think, on his rival, perhaps. No, actually, he hasn't. He hasn't gained much time at all. 3.3 is the gap. In fact, Lancer has gained time after all that. I think it was the DRS and Speed getting caught up behind Scott for a little bit that cost him there. But Lancer well ahead of his main rival for P2 in this race. Clemo, meanwhile, down in 7th, still yet to stop after that contact with Scott. Scott came in, by the way. He's now down in 11th, some 10 seconds down on Trugster. But it is Carlito who comfortably leads this race by nearly 5 seconds from the championship leader, Martin, who obviously still yet to stop, but he will be on the mediums for the second stint and should be stronger than the cars in his vicinity. So still plenty of opportunity for Martin, but he nearly binned it into the wall at turn 2 there. Just about kept hold of it. It was a good save from the German, but he's got to be a little bit careful. He can't push too hard. He can't look at that gap to Carlito. That's irrelevant. He's not in the hunt for the win today unless things really go badly wrong and we get some drama. But 5.2 between, and that is only going to grow, I think. Zoxerus 6 seconds behind. Lancer coming up to the lapped car of Vader Boy. Gets through with no issues. And Robin Brain now under pressure from Speed Alcoholic, who's looking to get his way into P5 and behind the driver that he was battling with in the first stint, Jordan Lancer. Here they go through turn 9. And Speed with the DRS, or turn 10 rather. I still don't know if that kink before, that kink after turn 5 counts as a corner or not. I've been counting it as a corner, but I don't know if it does. But anyway, Speed. Oh, a bit of a mistake from Robin Brain there, and that's going to give the South African the opportunity here, but he's going to lose time still behind him. He's got to back out of this one and then finally make the move down to turn 1. Robin covers the inside line, but Speed just with too much overspeed, and the Red Bull driver up to 5th place he goes. Johnny Stokes getting past Clemo as well, a simple overtake for him while that was all happening. Up to P7. It's not looking like a good day for Ferrari though today at the moment, as that is the back marker of Vader Boy just getting out the way of Speed. 2 seconds between him and Jordan Lancer. We'll see if Speed can do anything to close that down. But yeah, Red Bull aiming to gain quite a lot of points on Ferrari today, if they can keep this up. But we did say that last week. And then, well, those of you who watched will know what happened. They crashed into each other, Speed into the wall, down into last place, had to recover all the way back up. And then Martin had an incident of his own with Marcus, and he managed to put himself into the wall, I think, in the end. And he had to do the same thing. And Zoxerus, things get worse for Ferrari. Zoxerus a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But talking of speeding, this man is speeding down the track. 14.5, it's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And he trails Lancer by 2.3 seconds. Martin comes out just behind Clemo, and that is not a good spot to come out at all. But Clemo gets out of his way for some reason. I think a big mistake from the Mercedes actually through turn 1. Lost the rears, I think is what happened. And Trugster exits, or Zoxerus exits just ahead of Trugster. But that 10-second penalty is going to be very, very costly to the driver from Germany, the driver for Ferrari, who are desperately trying to stay with Red Bull in this Constructors' Championship. It is so, so close between the two teams, but, well, Red Bull in with a fantastic chance of taking that championship lead and running with it for the last 2 rounds. Martin on the better medium tyres now is catching Johnny Stokes very, very quickly. He's in DRS range already, and I think this is going to be clean and done. Not necessarily this lap, but certainly next lap. Martin should be able to take that place. It might well be this lap. No, he's not got enough ERS, I don't think, to take it. He's going to use the overtake anyway. Maybe he does have enough. To the inside he's going to go. Here we go, down to turn 1, and Johnny just lets him go. No point in fighting the driver on much better tyres than you. And who's had better race pace than you all race long. And Martin, the championship leader, it was a terrible qualifying by his standards, but he is now up to 4th place ahead of his nearest rival in this championship. With 2 rounds to go, he is looking like he's going to perhaps cruise to his 2nd ESRL title. He would only be the 2nd driver in ESRL history to win more than 1 title after NER Ayrton, funnily enough. Meanwhile, Carlito has pitted. He's come out just ahead of Speed, which he'll be thankful for, but he is behind Lancer. He is going to have to make this move count. Well, he doesn't have to, because the penalties to both Speed and Lancer now. But he is going to want to take it on track. You never know. People can get their penalties removed sometimes in the stewards. And Speed Alcoholic sets another fastest lap just behind him. So he's not going to be outdone here, Speed, and he's going to hope that Carlito can drag him up to Lancer. That's exactly what's happening at the moment, but you've got to think it'll be tough for him to stay in DRS range on this lap, as someone is causing a yellow flag on the straight. I think that is just Vader Boy getting out of people's way. But Carlito now 1.1 seconds behind Lancer. Surely is going to be in DRS range by the end of this lap. So a quick look at the comments. Hello to Extrarec, and thank you to Alex in the chat as well. The most recent APPF1 Tier 2 champion, Extrarec, in the chat. He says the first sector's not easy. You can say there are a lot of mistakes there, and personally he hates this track. And yeah, certainly, I'm definitely seeing that myself, especially through turns 1 and 2. A lot of mistakes through there today. And Speed Alcoholic just out of range, 1.01. It's going to be close. He's using the ERS to try and get back in range. Can he do it? There's the detection point there. He's just about got it. Let's see, yeah, there we go, rear wing opens, but Carlito sets the fastest lap and looks to take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, his home race. He goes to the inside of Lancer, and the move is done before the braking zone. Carlito back into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but Lancer's not done yet. He comes back at him through turn 3, but it's not going to be enough. There is no ERS on that Aston Martin, though. Lancer will see that. He knows, he can see the flashing red light as there's moves happening behind, but we've got to keep an eye on this, because Lancer might send it at any point to try and slow Carlito down, but he chooses not to, and the Spanish driver is looking like he is almost certain now to win his 2nd race on the trot after winning his first ESRL race ever in his career in this league last week. He's now looking to get his 2nd just 1 week later. Speed is now, though, in DRS range of Lancer. He's done his job. He's been dragged up there by Carlito. And the battle for P2 very much alive. Martin has a penalty now, by the way, in the Red Bull as well. There's a Haas getting out of the way of someone further back. But Martin now could be under pressure from Johnny. Johnny has fallen out of DRS range, but those mediums are going to get worse towards the end of the race, you would think. But so will the hards, but the mediums more so, I would have thought. Lancer not able to make a move into turn 1. But yeah, Johnny, as long as he can stay within 3 seconds here, will at least take a couple of points out of his championship rival, the championship leader in this race. But he's going to need a lot more than that to give himself a chance in the final race in Brazil. He's 38 points behind going into this race. He needs something to happen to Martin in next week's Grand Prix to be able to have a chance at snatching this title at the very last hurdle. But at the moment, He's just got to take every point that he can, and that includes staying within that 3-second range of Martin. He's got to push for it. Aces retires in the pit lane as Johnny loses a few tenths there to Martin on that corner. Just watching that gap, and here we go, down to turn 1. Lancer has stayed in range, so this is far from over. Speed is here as well, and these top 3 resume battle once more after all coming together at turn 4 when they were 3 wide in the first stint. Here they go again, battling once more. Carlito retakes the lead though on the inside of turn 3, and Lancer not able to reply at turn 4. And Carlito has gotten some ERS built up as well to help him out. Robin Brain making his way past Trugster meanwhile for P7 as he continues his recovery drive after that incident with Martin, which there could be a penalty for. But we have to assume there won't be. And Johnny Stokes now 2.3 behind Martin. The championship leader is doing enough to get that Ferrari out of range of that penalty that he's got. 3 seconds to him, 16 seconds to Zoxyrus, by the way. So he will drop down to 9th, I believe, if it ends right here. Lancer, though, has stayed in DRS range, as has Speed, and we're going to go again between these top 3. They've been far, far clear of the rest of the field today. Carlito, Lancer, and Speed. Speed looking to the inside, switches to the outside of turn 1, but all he's going to do is cost both drivers time to Carlito. But maybe that's Speed's plan. He wants to get Lancer out of range of the race leader so that he can take P2. And I don't think he's bothered about Carlito, perhaps. Maybe he's just thinking about second place. He thinks Carlito's got this wrapped up, but who knows? 9 laps to go. Anything can still happen. Carlito might still get a penalty. I'm not sure how many warnings he's on. I might do a very quick check. Let's just see. He's on, well, 1 warning at the start. Okay, he's on 2 warnings then. Presumably for track limits. Where is he? What am I looking for? I'm looking for Carlito. Yeah. Collision on lap 1, and then the other 2 were lap 16 and lap 22 were his other 2. So let's see if we can scroll down to there quickly. Come on. Lap 16. Carlito exceeded track limits. Okay, so that wasn't for the collision. So yeah, Carlito on 2 track limit warnings. So there's still every chance that he could get a penalty here with 8 laps to go still in this race. He still leads down to turn 1. Lancer not able to make the move, and Speed, a little mistake, a little bit wide out of turn 1, cost him through turn 2. And he's got to be careful he doesn't fall out of range here. I think he is the slowest of these 3 at this point in the Grand Prix. Ace has left the session. He has DNF'd from this race in the pit lane just a little bit earlier. But Carlito still keeping the lead, and Speed still staying with them, crucially. And, well, he's certainly been the one who's been the most willing to go for moves out of these 3 so far in this race. Speed, lest we forget that 2-car send into turn 1 in the first stint. After Lancer backed out of making a move, he wasn't interested. He decided to stay behind, and Speed just said, thanks very much, and got both of them into turn 1, but I think the contact at 4 then happened on the same lap. So it didn't end particularly well, but it is still game on between these 3. Carlito only needs 1 penalty, and then it really is game on as Lancer takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Speed sends it to the inside of the pole sitter. Carlito down to 3rd place. It's a 2-car overtake. And Speed up to P2, but Carlito's going to be back at him through 3. He takes the inside line, but he backs out for 4 and is content with staying in 3rd as long as he doesn't have any track limit penalties to his name. That's exactly what's happening, but Speed now into the better place, into 2nd place. That's really where you want to be in a train like this, at a track like this. Second place, especially going on to the final lap. Because if you're in first place, you're in a 3-car train, then you could lose out big time, as we just saw happen to Carlito down to turn 1 there on this lap earlier on. Not really many battles happening further down the grid, except for these two, Scott and Jacko. Jacko with 6 seconds, Scott with 3, though. So in terms of penalties, it's not really a battle, but they are still going for it. Scott, at the moment, set to get another point, which will bring his tally up to 17 this season. As all speed, looking to the inside, looking to the outside of turn 1. These 3 continue to go wheel to wheel. This is fantastic stuff. There may not be much happening in the rest of the grid, but the battle for the lead is where the action is, and that's exactly how you want it to be. Jordan Lancer leads from speed from Carlito, who started on pole position and has the medium tyres, but they're just not working out for him in this stint. By the way, Johnny Stokes has dropped out of that 3-second range, so he will have to hope that those mediums get worse in these last few laps so that he can catch up and get back in range before the end. But at the moment doesn't look particularly good for the defending champion. Martin looking like he can take another couple of points out of his, or extend his lead by another couple of points. With 2 rounds to go, he would lead by 40 points, which would look almost unassailable, not mathematically, but he would need a disastrous result and Johnny Stokes to win next week's race for there to really be a realistic chance. Here we go, though, down to turn 1 again. It's Lancer in front this time. Speed goes to the inside. Carlito goes to the outside. They're going to be 3 wide. Lancer backs out of it. Speed and Carlito side by side. Speed sent round and into the grass and into the gravel. Oh no! Disaster for Speed Alcoholic, and the 3 wide has gone wrong once again. Speed just tagged out of turn 2 by Carlito, and that is game over for the South African. I think he will still finish this race on the podium as long as he can keep it in a straight line, but in terms of the battle for the race win, I think that is his time up, and Lancer and Carlito are now going to go for it, but Lancer needs the home hero to get himself a penalty here, and it's just not happening. He's had 2 warnings for, I think, 8 or 9 laps now, but it's just a matter of keeping it within the white lines, and Carlito should be able to take this race win at his home circuit. What a dream win it would be in ESRL, his 2nd in a row, his 2nd ever in this league. And here they go around the final corner. Lancer should take the lead again, but he does have that penalty to contend with, and that is going to be his main problem. And the problem for Speed here as well is that the only reason that they were all costing each other time battling was because it was 3 of them, and because they were going 3 wide into corners, they had to accommodate for both other cars whenever they were going wheel to wheel. But now Lancer and Carlito, they're just going to be happy to swap places down to turn 1 over and over again each lap. They're just going to share the DRS, and Speed is going to have a very, very hard time catching them. 2.5 seconds is the gap. I don't think he's got what it takes now. I think he's too far behind. And that's such a shame. So undeserved, Speed. He's been screwed over twice now in this race as Robin Brain spectacularly goes into the grass and somehow saves that from a full spin. Brilliant car control there from Robin Brain to keep that under control, but he has now lost out to Clemo, and I think that is going to be 9th place for him in the end here. And Zoxorus, by the way, is 18 seconds ahead of Trugster. So despite having 16 seconds worth of penalties, he's not actually going to lose any positions as it stands with 3 laps to go now. TTM Carlitos just behind Lancer still. Speed just losing more and more time to the DRS. There's nothing he can do about it. And I do wonder if Speed is going to be making some reports in the stewards, because he has been screwed over twice now. now in this race. The first time, 3 wide moment. These things happen when it's 3 wide. I don't really think anyone was particularly to blame. They took the risk. They took the risk going 3 wide, and it didn't end well. But the second incident, who knows? Wasn't quite 3 wide. Lancer had backed out by that point, so maybe Speed would have grounds for a report there, but who knows? Will he send it in? I will update you on all the stewards' reports and all the results of them next week at the penultimate race of the season in our next stream in ESRL. But here we go, on to the penultimate lap now of this race, and it's Lancer who leads from Carlito, who has the DRS, but he's not going to make any moves here. He's just going to save that ERS, let Lancer use his, and he should be able to make the move on the final lap, I would have thought. Through turn 3 they go, 2/10 between these top two. What a race it's been between these 3 drivers, Lancer, Carlito and Speed, locked together almost the whole Grand Prix. Speed getting so unfortunate, and Lancer as well, with that contact at turn 4, the 3 wide moment. And then fought his way all the way back, cleverly using Carlito to drag him up to Lancer, and got himself back in the fight, and then it all went wrong again. He must be feeling a bit like Sisyphus right now, just pushing that boulder all the way to the top of the hill, and then it rolls all the way back down again. He has to start again, and it's happened twice now to him in this race. Got yellow flags somewhere in sector 1. That is Robin Brain, who's gone round once again in the V-Carb. He's now under pressure from from Scott, who gets himself into 10th place. Jacko there in 9th place. Looking to get himself some points from this race, but he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he needs Carlito to make another mistake. We'll cut back to the front because it's Carlito who has taken the lead with the DRS, didn't need the braking zone, and lap 33 of 33, the pole sitter has retaken the lead of this race, and even if Lancer gets his penalty removed, Carlito should now be able to take this race win. It's been a hard fought race win for him, but nonetheless a very accomplished drive once again from the Spaniard for 2 weeks in a row. It was an accomplished drive from him in Austria as well, but Martin just absolutely unbelievable to pip him at the post at the final corner, and another final lap overtake further down the grid. Clemo up to 7th place. Fantastic stuff, and getting ahead of Trugser, who's down into 8th now, and Carlito coming round the last couple of corners now. He's got Lancer for company, but Lancer is not close enough. Carlito round the final corner, and the Spanish driver, the home hero, wins the Spanish Grand Prix from Jordan Lancer. Speed Alcoholic finishes a very valiant P3. He deserved better though from this race. He still gets himself that podium. Martin finishes 4th. Johnny Stokes could not stay with him, and he will finish in 5th. Zoxerus will take 6th despite the 16 seconds of penalties, and due to Clemo being so far behind, and the Red Bulls will gain 8 points on the Ferraris in this race. A huge gain for them, and I believe that is 11 points is the gap between the two teams with 2 rounds to go. Speed in the chat had the pace again but got unlucky. Yeah, so unfortunate. Speed really didn't deserve that. But I think you would have been hard-pressed to beat Carlito today, as who was that spinning across the line? It was Robin Brain, actually. Robin Brain spinning out the last corner, but Jacko spun as well. I think there may have been contact between the two, and Jacko misses out on points as a result by 1.3 seconds. He'll be a little frustrated with that, I imagine. At least Robin Brain managed to salvage a point, but given that he was nearly on pole in this race, it is not the result he would have hoped for. He will be fuming. He will indeed, Alex. Clemo gets driver of the day from the game. Who's my driver of the day? I'm going to give it to Speed because I think he got really, really unlucky today. Martin a close second, to be honest. Great recovery drive from the championship leader to actually extend his lead after a disastrous qualifying. So fantastic drive from him, but Speed Alcoholic deserved a shot at the race win, at least P2, but just got unlucky twice in a row and couldn't make up the difference in the end. Finished P3, but my driver of the day for today. But it is Carlito who wins with the fastest lap as well. Full 26 points for him. Lancer in second place. I think he'll be really happy with how much he's improved these last few weeks to take P2 today. Very, very good drive from Lancer. I think he's a real contender for driver of the day as well, actually. So Lancer, Speed and Martin, all contenders. But I'm going to give it to Speed just because I think he was the most unlucky of the three. Martin finishes in P4 as the aforementioned. Good drive from him to extend his lead. Johnny Stokes in 5th place. Zoxerus in 6th despite the penalties. Clemo in 7th. Trugster, Scott and Robin Brain take the last of the points. Good drive from Scott. Jacko misses out just about on points with Tier and Vader Boy finishing a lap down, and then Aces and a couple of other drivers who I forget the names of, unable to finish. So there we have it. Another race done in ESRL. 2 rounds to go in this thrilling championship. The Constructors certainly a lot more thrilling, I would say. Just 11 points, I believe. No, sorry. 14 points between Red Bull and Ferrari with 2 rounds to go. It's going to be mighty, mighty close. So keep a close eye on how that develops with these last 2 rounds. I certainly will be. But there we have it. Drivers' Championship. Martin will now take a 40-point lead going into these last 2 rounds. Carlito, by the way, will get himself into 4th place in the championship in 6 races so far of the 10. So if he makes races, he's a title contender easily. He just doesn't make races. But 2 wins on the bounce for him, and Speed Alcoholic, Zoxerus, Johnny Stokes, and Martin. The rest of those top 5 in the drivers' standings. So there we have it. Thank you ever so much for watching today. It has been a pleasure to commentate. Great race up and down the grid, but especially at the front. So thank you all ever so much. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend. And I'll see you next week for more ESRL. We will be for round number 11, the penultimate round of the season, in Jeddah. So, well, as you can see on the screen there. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a fantastic race, I am sure. But thank you all ever so much. I will see you all next week for more ESRL. And we could have a champion crowned in Martin. Goodbye.